All right, get ready, because December's night sky is about to put on a spectacular show, and we are diving deep into all the celestial happenings.
Yeah, we've got all the latest from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. They always have the best insights on all things cosmic.
That's right, and they say we've got 5 planets gracing us with their presence this month.
5.
Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. It's like a planetary party up there.
Yeah, it's not often we get to see so many at once.
I know, right? Usually we hear about maybe 1 or 2 being visible.
Yeah.
So, what's going to be the main event in this celestial lineup?
Well, Jupiter's definitely stealing the show this month.
Jupiter, huh?
Yeah, on December 7th, it reaches what we call opposition, meaning it's directly opposite the sun from our view here on Earth.
So, like, it's on the other side of us from the sun.
Exactly, and that's what makes it the brightest it will be all year, visible all night long.
So it's getting prime real estate in the night sky. Why does that make it so much brighter, though?
Well, think about it this way. Not only is it fully illuminated by the sun from our perspective, but it's also physically closer to Earth during opposition.
Oh, so a double whammy of brightness.
Exactly. And if you happen to have binoculars or a telescope, you'll even be able to catch a glimpse of some of its larger moons.
Oh, cool.
And those amazing swirling cloud belts.
I've always wanted to see those. It's like Jupiter's putting on its own personal spotlight show for us this month.
It really is.
So anything else we should mark on our calendars for this month's sky watching? Besides Jupiter, I mean.
Oh, absolutely. Earlier in the month, December 4th, Venus and a slim crescent moon will make a beautiful pairing in the southwest just after sunset.
Venus and a crescent moon.
Picture perfect.
Oh, I'm marking that on my calendar. But speaking of Jupiter, it sounds like it's the social butterfly of the month, because on December 14th,
Yeah.
a couple weeks after opposition, it'll be hanging out between the nearly full moon and Aldebaran, the bright orange star in Taurus.
It's true. Jupiter really is making its rounds this month.
And then Mars is getting closer and brighter all month long, too, right?
Yes. It's rising in the east-northeast, and by New Year's Eve, it'll be up just 90 minutes after sunset.
So lots to look forward to with these planets.
Definitely.
Now, speaking of getting a closer look, the article also mentions some hidden gems within the constellations themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like a cosmic treasure hunt.
They are.
What should we be looking for?
Well, as the evenings get darker earlier this month, we've got some classic winter constellations taking center stage. Orion the Hunter, Taurus the Bull, and Gemini the Twins.
Oh, nice. They'll all be rising in the east.
Yeah.
Orion's belt, those 3 stars lined up perfectly.
Yes.
It's such an iconic pattern.
It is. But what's even more amazing is that within these constellations, there are objects that you might not notice at first glance.
Like what?
Well, for instance, tucked within Taurus, you'll find the Crab Nebula.
The Crab Nebula.
It's the remnant of a supernova explosion witnessed here on Earth almost 1,000 years ago.
Whoa, wait. A supernova remnant. So we're looking at the aftermath of a star that literally exploded centuries ago.
You got it.
That's incredible.
What's even more fascinating is that at the heart of the Crab Nebula lies a pulsar, a rapidly spinning neutron star.
A pulsar. I've heard of those, but
Yeah.
I never realized we could actually observe something like that from Earth.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Wow. So what else is hidden within these constellations? Besides the Crab Nebula, I mean.
Well, Taurus also boasts the Pleiades star cluster, often called the Seven Sisters.
The 7 Sisters.
Even though there are actually hundreds of stars in this cluster, on a clear night, you can usually spot 6 or 7 of the brightest stars just with the naked eye.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So it's like this cosmic family of stars all huddled together.
Exactly.
I love that imagery. What about Orion? Any hidden treasures there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just below Orion's belt, you'll find the Orion Nebula.
The Orion Nebula.
It's a stellar nursery, a massive cloud of gas and dust where new stars are being born.
A stellar nursery, huh?
It's one of the brightest nebulae in the sky, and it's visible even with binoculars.
So we're witnessing the birth of stars in real time.
In a way, yes.
That's mind-blowing.
And as if all of that wasn't enough, December also marks the arrival of a prominent asterism, or a recognizable pattern of stars, known as the Winter Triangle.
The Winter Triangle. I've heard of the Summer Triangle, but the Winter Triangle is a new one for me.
It is a dazzling beacon in the winter sky.
So what stars make up this celestial trio?
Well, it's formed by 3 very bright stars, Sirius, Procyon, and Betelgeuse.
Okay. And once you know how to find it, I bet you see it everywhere, right?
Right.
So how do we locate this celestial landmark?
Well, it's easier than you might think. You start with Orion's belt, those 3 distinctive stars in a row, and you
Yeah.
follow those stars left and down, and they'll point you straight to Sirius, which is the brightest star in the entire night sky.
Sirius, the night sky's superstar.
Exactly.
Got it. So what's next?
Then look up and to the left of Sirius to find Procyon. And finally, look back up towards Orion to find reddish Betelgeuse at Orion's shoulder.
Got it.
And voila, you found the winter triangle.
It's like cosmic connect the dots. Orion's belt to Sirius, up to Procyon, and back to Betelgeuse.
Yeah.
This is so cool. I'm already feeling more connected to the night sky just knowing that all of this is happening up there.
It's true. The more you learn about the night sky, the more you realize how much is going on above our heads.
Absolutely.
And we haven't even talked about the Geminid Meteor shower yet.
Oh, right. The article mentioned it peaks on December 13th and 14th.
Right.
That's always a crowd pleaser, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What should we expect from this year's shower?
Well, there's a bit of a challenge this year. The peak coincides with a nearly full moon,
Oh, no, really?
which unfortunately means the fainter meteors will be harder to see.
So a full moon during a meteor shower? That's got to be disappointing.
It is a little bit, but don't give up hope just yet.
Okay.
The Geminids are known for producing bright, long-lasting meteors. So while the moonlight will wash out some of the fainter ones, you might still catch some good ones, especially in the week leading up to the peak before dawn.
So it's all about timing this year.
Yeah, early birds might have a better chance of spotting some shooting stars.
Exactly. But even if we don't see a ton of meteors, you got to admit, just being out under a dark, starry sky is pretty magical.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree.
There's something so calming and awe-inspiring about gazing up at the stars, feeling connected to something much bigger than ourselves.
It's true.
All right, well, we've covered a lot of ground here. Planets, constellations, hidden gems, a meteor shower,
A lot.
even a solstice. But before we dive deeper into these specific events, let's take a moment to unpack some of the science behind these celestial wonders.
Okay.
What makes them so special, and what can we learn from observing them?
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so let's unpack some of these celestial happenings a bit and really dive into what makes them so fascinating. Let's start with Venus, our evening star for December. It's not actually a star, is it?
Right. Venus is a planet, and a very bright one at that. But it's called the evening star because of where it appears in the sky relative to the sun and Earth. Right now, it's on the western side of the sun from our perspective, so it appears in the sky after sunset, kind of like it's chasing the sun as it sets.
Oh, I see. So it's all about perspective. Kind of like how the moon appears to change shape,
Yeah.
but it's really just our viewpoint shifting.
Exactly. And because Venus is so reflective, it really stands out against that darkening twilight sky, making it look like a bright star, hence the nickname evening star.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's talk about Jupiter. The article mentioned its swirling cloud belts and moons. What's the deal with those?
Well, Jupiter's a gas giant, essentially a giant ball of gas and dust, right? And its atmosphere is incredibly dynamic, constantly changing, lots of turbulence with these distinct bands of clouds called belts and zones.
Okay, so not just a smooth, plain surface.
No, not at all. These belts and zones are like massive jet streams flowing in opposite directions, and that creates those incredible stripes that we can see through telescopes.
Wow, so it's like a constantly swirling, colorful masterpiece up there. What about those moons? Can we actually see those from Earth?
Absolutely. Jupiter has a ton of moons, but the 4 largest, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, are the most famous. They were discovered by Galileo way back in the 17th century.
Wow.
So we often call them the Galilean moons.
It's crazy to think we can still observe those same moons from Earth, just like Galileo did hundreds of years ago. Now let's jump back to those hidden gems and the constellations. That supernova remnant in Taurus, the Crab Nebula, really caught my attention. What can you tell me about that?
It is a truly remarkable object. It's the debris field, basically, that's left behind after a massive star exploded as a supernova. And we actually know the exact date of that explosion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Chinese astronomers documented it back in 1054 AD.
Wow. Can you imagine witnessing that in the night sky?
It would have been an incredible sight. But yeah, what we see today is the slowly expanding cloud of debris from that ancient explosion.
So those seemingly static points of light actually represent these dynamic and ancient events. It's incredible.
It really is, and it really highlights just how vast space is and the incredibly long timescales involved in those cosmic events. And here's something even cooler. At the heart of the Crab Nebula, there's a pulsar, which is this incredibly dense, rapidly spinning neutron star that was left behind after the supernova.
So it's like a cosmic lighthouse?
Exactly. It's beaming out radiation as it spins.
Okay, that is just awesome. So we've got this ancient supernova remnant, the Crab Nebula,
Yeah.
with a pulsar at its core, all tucked away within the constellation Taurus. What about the Pleiades star cluster, also in Taurus? What's so special about that one?
Well, the Pleiades, also known as the Seven Sisters, is what we call a young, open cluster of stars. That means the stars are all relatively close together in space, and they're moving together. They were born from the same massive cloud of gas and dust.
So they're like a cosmic family, all born together and traveling through the galaxy as a group.
Yeah.
I love that. And why are they so bright, by the way?
Because they're young stars. Young stars tend to be hotter and burn brighter than older stars, which is why the Pleiades are so easy to spot with the naked eye.
That makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears one last time and talk about the Geminid meteor shower. You mentioned it might be tough to see this year because of the full moon. For those of us who don't want to miss out, what are our best chances?
Yeah, you're right. The full moon will make it more challenging, for sure. But the Geminids are known for producing bright, long-lasting meteors, so there's still hope. You just need to be strategic.
All right, give us the inside scoop. What's the best strategy?
Okay, first, get away from city lights. The darker, the better. And then, even though the peak is on December 13th and 14th, try heading out the week before. Especially before dawn, you might catch some early Geminids before the moon rises and washes out the sky too much.
So early birds might have a better chance of spotting some shooting stars.
Exactly.
And even if we don't catch a ton of meteors, you got to admit, just being out under that dark, starry sky is pretty magical.
It really is. I absolutely agree.
There's something so calming and awe-inspiring about gazing up at the stars. Yeah, it makes you feel connected to something much bigger than yourself.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground here. Planets, constellations, hidden gems, a meteor shower,
It's been a lot.
even a solstice. But before we wrap up, is there a key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
You know, I think the most important thing is to simply get out there and experience the night sky for yourself. December offers so many opportunities for observation, from bright planets to iconic constellations. And you don't need a telescope or any fancy equipment, just your own two eyes and a sense of wonder.
That's beautifully said. It's a free, never-ending show happening right above our heads.
Yeah.
Now, the article focused on naked eye observations, but I'm curious, what kind of detail could we see if we used a small telescope?
Oh, that's a great question. A telescope, even a small one, can really enhance your stargazing. You'd be able to see details like the cloud belts of Jupiter, craters on the moon, even the rings of Saturn.
Wow. That's like going from watching a movie on your phone to seeing it on a giant IMAX screen.
Exactly. And the great thing is, there are telescopes available for every budget and experience level. If you're looking to really take your sky watching to the next level, exploring the world of telescopes is definitely the way to go.
That's a great idea. Okay, let's wrap up this deep dive into December's night sky. You've heard it here first, folks. Bundle up, head outside, look up, and who knows what wonders you might discover.
And if you do spot something amazing, don't forget to share it with us. We'd love to hear about your experiences.
You got it. We're all part of this cosmic community,
Mm-hmm.
sharing in the wonder of the night sky. You know, we've been talking about all these planets and constellations,
Yeah.
and it makes me wonder how people throughout history viewed them.
Oh, interesting.
Like, did the ancient Egyptians see the same Orion that we see today?
It is a fascinating thought. And yes, the answer is they did see the same stars.
Right.
But their interpretation of them, well, that was quite different.
I bet.
For example, while we see Orion as a hunter, the ancient Egyptians saw those same stars as Osiris, god of the underworld.
Wow. So the stars themselves haven't changed, but the stories we tell about them, our understanding of them, those have evolved.
Exactly. And different cultures all over the globe, they've looked up at the same night sky, right? And they've created their own constellations, their own myths and legends around these stars.
That's so cool.
Really shows you how astronomy and human culture are completely intertwined.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about the science, it's about our shared human experience of looking up and wondering about our place in this vast universe.
It's true. It's like we're all connected, in a way, by this shared experience of looking up at the stars and asking those big questions about who we are, where we came from.
It's a powerful thing.
It is. Well, I think that's the perfect note to end on. We've covered so much in this deep dive into December's night sky. We talked about those 5 visible planets, the winter constellations, those hidden gems like the Crab Nebula and Pleiades.
Don't forget the meteor shower.
Oh, right. And the Geminids. It's going to be quite a month for sky watching.
It really is. I encourage everyone listening to bundle up, head outside, and just look up. You never know what you might discover.
You heard it here first, folks. December's night sky is offering a show you won't want to miss, so get out there and enjoy it. And hey, if you happen to be near an observatory or planetarium this month, see what they have going on.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They often have special events and presentations, especially around meteor showers and other cool celestial happenings.
It's a great way to learn even more and connect with fellow space enthusiasts.
Exactly. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into December's night sky. We hope you feel inspired to get out there, explore the cosmos, and discover the wonders that await you just above your head. Until next time, keep looking up and keep those curious minds exploring.